Hi guys, welcome back to today's class. My name is Timmy and I'm the creative director of Tom Fashion Empire. So in today's video guys, we are going to be learning how to cut this dress that you're seeing on your screen. So before I go, let me quickly say something. To all the old time subscriber guys, thank you very much. I see the love and I love you right back too. So and if you're watching my video for the first time, kindly subscribe, like, share and turn on the notification bell so that by the time I post the next video, you are going to be the first person to get notified and you'll be able to come here and watch it first. So now, guys, let's go ahead, take your measurements. The measurements needed are the ones that you are seeing on your screen. Kindly take them and let's get right into it. Now, this is the fabric I'm going to be working with. This is 2 yards of you can call it a chiffon, but it's not as light in weight like that the plain color chiffon. So this one is a little bit um different. It has a little bit thickness to it and it is patterned. Now the first thing I'm going to note is this is not a floral pattern. It's like us is running through it. So you want to, if you are working with fabrics like I do say, you want to note the pattern so that you know how to place it, because that is very important. It may not be important to every other person, but there are some people that are not even fashion designer, but they have eyes that could easily capture wrong things on dresses or a wrong placement or whatsoever on your dresses. So you do want to be mindful wherever you are working with fabrics like that. Now for me, I have 2 yards of this. It won't be possible for me to place the fabric like this because the length won't be enough to cut what I need to cut. So I'm going to place it over this way, making sure that the horses are running like they are running forward or downward. So now let's go ahead and place the fabric on fold. Now if you look at the design I'm working with, you'll notice that it's a kimono dress. That is the sleeve is going to be cut together with the um, main dress. So let's go ahead and place our fabric. So now to place my fabric on fold, I'm going to bring this part together this way. That is me simply using the self edge. So and once I do so, hold it this way. I'm just going to use my pin to hold it down because of the crease so that it doesn't shift. Once it is pinned, I'm going to go over and bring this over this way. So because I'm going to be cutting both the front and the back together. So if you like, you can make yours have a zip allowance, but normally it doesn't need a zip allowance, so it's not needed because you can just fix the a short zip, those caterpillar jeans zip, or you make there's just no need of zip allowance anyway. Let me put it that way. Now I'm going to measure, making sure that what I have is, it should be more than enough. Now I have 17 inches. So now the next thing is going to be for me to start placing all my measurements. Now let's go ahead with the back. My back is 7.5 plus half, that's 8. I'm just going to work with 7.5 direct because, like I said, this is going to be a kimono. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and work with all of the normal shaping. And once I get that, my shoulder to armpit is 8.5. I'm going to measure that point. This. So it's meant to be a straight line so that it will help me in shaping my armhole and just to give me a guideline anyway. So now once I do so, I'm going to go ahead now place my bust measurement, which is 40. So divided by 4, that's 10. Now for the dress, you can cut it using a bias method if you understand it, but if you don't, you can use a straight. One of the reasons why I'm using this method is because of the amount of fabric I have. So I'm going to be using a line foundation for it. So which simply means that whatever my measurement is, I'm going to add 2 inches. So that is both for the seam allowance and for my ease. So I have 10 here plus 2, that is 12. So this is where I'll stop this right now. Now the next thing is going to be for me to go ahead and measure my half length, which is 17. My waist circumference is 32 divided by 4, I have 8. So I'm going to measure the 8, then plus 2, I have 10. Now this is it. Then from that waist, I'm going to come down and measure my hip. My hip level is 9. Then I'm going to go ahead. My hip is 46 divided by 4, that is 11 and a half. Then plus 2, that is 13 and a half. So I'm going to mark it this way. So the same thing with the M. So since I have 13 and a half here, let me measure the M of my. So the length of my dress is going to be 44. I'm using the whole of 44. That is with the what do we call it? The bending allowance and the actual length. I'm working with 44 directly. Now, come in. Working with 44. Now, remember I have 13 and a half on the hip line. So I'm just going to go ahead, measure all I have on the hip line and also extend the M a little bit. So I can do 15 and a half now. So that means whatever you have on the hip line, you add 2 to it and bring it down to the M. So and once I do so, I'll connect everything. So if you want the A line to be all the way and you don't want the waistline to be defined, you can just go ahead and connect it this way. That is all the way to the bust line, all the way. So it makes it just free all the way. Then if you want the waistline to be a little bit shaped, that means you have to go in. At times when the shaping is too, let me show you this now. If you look at this to this now, the waistline is looking too sharp. So you can come in a little bit more, then you connect it from here now and you blend it slightly. You see that you can compare how shaped this is to this so that you give more room to it. And if you like, you can work with this line. So anyone that works for you, depending on what you want. Looking at the picture, it is actually more like a box. The dress is more like a box dress. So you can go with this. So now once we do that, the next thing is going to be to come to the sleeve line. Now what I have left at this area now is not enough. So my sleeve length can be, that is from that point, I can make it 7 or make it 8. Right from this point is meant to be longer. Let's say um, from this point can be 10. I'm trying to look for a way to work with it so that it will be enough. From this point now, so I just place my tape through there and I measure 10 inches all the way. Now and once I do that, this one is still coming this way. I'm going to connect that 10 now to the 8 I measured up. So and I can as well reduce this one because what I have as the length of the sleeve is actually not enough. So I can reduce this one to 6. Then I'll connect this to this now. So and that's it. I can go ahead and cut it out now. So for this place now, instead of using the one here, I'm bringing it down here. For this place, you bring it here. You can just make it half instead. Half is enough. Then my neck point is 3. So I'll connect that half to the neck point. So that this all is just going to do is to make the shoulder area to sit balanced on the body. That's all it does. So I've connected it here. Now you can now decide and use the whatever neck you choose to use. I can still maintain the same 3 or I can extend it by 3 and a half. So it depends. If you want a closed neck, you can use 3. Then the neck depth as well, you can use 3 by 3 or 3 by 2 and half. Then once you do that, I'm going to connect it all the way. So I'll connect it all the way. Then for the back, depending on the type of back you want actually, if you want it to have a shape at the back, if you want it, but for now, I'm just going to use 1 inch so that by the time I'm done cutting, I'll be able to decide what I really want, because for now I haven't. And once you are done, you can go ahead and cut it out. This is what I have now. So if you look at the neck, I only cut the back neck. So to cut the front neck now, I'm going to slightly take away the back piece from that point. So you cut the back neck. That's why it's advisable to first use higher neck. Even if it be a little bit lower, then you can go ahead and decide whatsoever you want it to be. For me, I'm just trying to think of what to make my neck honestly. So okay. So let me show you what I have left. This is the fabric I have left. This is the fabric I have left. Now for the gathering which is on the dress, all I'm going to do is, let me measure it and tell you what I have left now. So I have the length of the fabric I have left is 13. So I'm just going to go ahead. Looking at the gathering there, the length is not too long. So I'm going to divide it by 2. That means I'm going to use 6.5 inches by the total length for each arm. So I'm going to place it this way and I'll cut it through. So that's 6.5 by the length of the fabric. So yours could be 7. Just use what you are okay with. But I'm working with 6.5. Looking at what we have there, it is not too long as well. Like now, I'm just going to use length 8 inches. It's going to be a slit. So you can make it longer, you can make it, even if I decide to use 5, it's still going to be okay. But I'm going to use 8. And once I measure it, I've marked the point, I'm going to cut through. So when you cut through, you do want to make sure that the neck points here match up. Then you can go ahead and cut through. So, and that's it. So that is it. The next thing is going to be, once you are done joining, you want to go ahead, join the shoulder together, join the side, and you just gather this all the way. Once you are done joining it, this one comes together and you'll be able to gather it all the way to this point. So now it is time to sew the dress. The first thing I'm going to do now is to place the shoulder on each other. You want to sew it 1/2 inch all the way, and once you are done with that, you also want to go ahead and seal the side. So 1/2 inch all the way. You just take it from the hem over and out to the sleeve. Let's go ahead and do that. Once I'm done joining, let me just show you. I've joined the shoulder, I've done joined the sides as well. So this is this side part. I just took a little inch in all the way out here. Then this place, remember it is too thin, so I have to just stop along the way. So I'm going to trim off the excess and also trim off the excess at this point. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead now and sew in the um, gathers that we are going to use for the sleeve. So you can go ahead, you can do tiny pleats, or I'm just going to go ahead, measure this from that point to here. Now okay, I have 15 here. That's a total of 30. So by the time I run a gathering stitch on my fabric, I'm going to gather it to 30 inches. I'm going to run a gathering stitch on it all the way and launch it. So let's come back. Let's get to that. So once you are done gathering, you go ahead and you sew it here. You sew it, I'll sew it now. Now the next thing is going to be to match the hem of the sleeve and the upper part of the gathered fabric together. You sew it half inch all the way. Just pick each together. I've done the same thing too for the other side, so I'm just going to bring it together this way and join my half inch all the way around. So you do the same thing for this and the other sleeve. And if you know how to work with your neck, you can go ahead, turn your neckline, fix the rope, and bend the hem. So I'll see you shortly. Let's get to that. I've finished sewing it together, and this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do, once I'm done, I'm going to be weaving everything once and for all together, and my pressing too. So for now, to close the slit, remember the back slit I gave it. I've gone ahead to cut my fabric. This is 1 inch. The width is 1 inch by the total length. The total length is actually 8 times 2, that's 16. But I actually made do with 18 so that it's better it is there is SX than at the end of the day it is not enough. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to simply match up right side to right side, the right side of the main fabric with the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to sew it. First run a stitch all the way, and once I'm through, I'm going to fold it over this way and use this now to turn it. That is so that it closes this place. You want to bring it together, run a stitch over it all the way. Then once you are done, you just bring it together slightly. By the time you finish it, it's going to be like this. Then you bring it this way, you fold this over one, and you fold it over once again, and you top stitch it all the way. So let's go ahead and do that. Once I'm done with the neckline, this is what I have now. Now this is going to be for, once I'm done with the slit rather, this is going to be for the neck circumference. Now all I did was I measured my neck circumference, which is 18 inches, and I multiplied by 2, which is 36. So I use it to cut this out. Now instead of one like we did for the first one, I use 1.5. That is 1.5. The width is 1.5 by length 36. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is going to be, because for my neckline, I just want you to have a little rope that I can knot. So I'm going to notch the center front of the neck, which is, I'm going to notch it up and down. And for the main bodies of my dress too, I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to notch the center front as well, which is here now. So, and once I do so, it simply means that I am going to match up the center parts together now. I'm going to match up the center front and the center point or two of the fabric together. And once I do so, I'll sew it round. So now when I sew it all the way around, I'm going to sew it all the way around. And when I stop here, I'll lock my stitch. I'll come to the second side too and sew it. Okay, let me go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and show you what I'll do next. So once you are done with the neckline, this is what I have. So I'm going to bring this over, making sure that the tip matches up this way, and I'm going to fold this over and top stitch it all the way, all the way. Then when I get to the hem here, before folding over, I'm going to make sure I do this. Then I'll bend this way. I'll bend this to this way. Just bend it slightly. I'm going to bend it this. The truth is I'm going to start from here. So I'm going to bring this way too, at this part, just the same way we started. Then I'm going to sew it all the way. Then when I get to the hem, you want to make sure that you fold it over before you do your bending on both sides. Before you do the bending, you make sure that you fold it over so that the edge will be closed and the fabric won't be fraying. Just in case if there is no how it won't even want to fray. So you make sure that you do close it over, then you can go ahead and bend it any which way you want to bend it, making sure you follow the same bending that we started with. So let's get to that now. And once you are done with that, you can go ahead, if you want to weave it, go ahead and weave it, give it a nice press, do the bending of the hem, do not forget that, and let me see how yours look. So in the next video, guys, I'm believing you are going to be seeing how I wrote the dress. So thank you for staying. Bye bye, I love you.